Imagine this. It's the crisp morning of October 23rd, 2025, and the world is just stirring awake. Coffee brews in kitchens from New York to Nairobi. Kids rush to school buses in Tokyo and Toronto. And somewhere high above, in the vast silence of space, tiny fragments of ancient rock streak through our atmosphere like fiery messengers from the stars. These weren't the apocalyptic boulders of Hollywood blockbusters. No, these were modest space rocks, roughly the size of a small car, burning up harmlessly over remote skies. But oh, what a reminder they were. As reports trickled in from observatories worldwide, confirming these meteors as remnants of the recent close approach of asteroid 2025 TF, a 2-meter rock that skimmed by at a mere 428 kilometers on October 1st, served as nature's alarm clock. But why does this matter to you, right now, sipping your morning brew? Because it's a stark, emotional nudge that our blue marble isn't invincible. We've dodged bullets before, but each one leaves us pondering. What if the next one's bigger? What if it's aimed right at us? Stick with me, friends. Hit that like button if you're already hooked, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We're diving deep into a story that could change how we all look at the night sky. Picture the scene unfolding in real time. Amateur astronomers in backyard setups capturing the streaks on their phones, sharing videos that go viral in minutes. Did you see that? One posts, heart racing with a mix of awe and unease. These fragments identified as part of the recent close approach of asteroid 2025 TF, a house-sized rock that skimmed by at a mere 428 kilometers, served as nature's alarm clock. But why does this matter to you, right now, sipping your morning brew? Because it's a stark, emotional nudge that our blue marble isn't invincible. We've dodged bullets before, but each one leaves us pondering. What if the next one's bigger? What if it's aimed right at us? Stick with me, friends. Hit that like button if you're already hooked, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We're diving deep into a story that could change how we all look at the night sky. As the sun rises higher, news outlets buzz with updates. No damage, no panic, just a collective breath held and released. Yet, in the back rooms of power, from Washington to Geneva, this isn't dismissed as coincidence. It's layered onto a narrative that's been building since January 2025, when a seemingly routine blip on NASA's radar turned into humanity's latest brush with the cosmos. That blip? Asteroid 2024, YR4. Not just any space rock, but one that whispered threats of city-level devastation, pulling governments into action like never before. Feel that tingle of curiosity? That's the pull of the unknown, drawing us in. Let's unravel this tale together, chapter by chapter, and by the end, you'll be commenting below. What would you do if the stars turned against us? Fast forward, no, rewind, to the chill of January 2025. In the dimly lit control rooms of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, astronomers hunched over screens, their eyes glued to data streams from telescopes dotted across the globe. Hawaii's Mauna Kea, Chile's Atacama Desert, Spain's Canary Islands, these sentinels of the sky had picked up something new. A faint dot, tagged 2024 YR4, emerging from the edge of detection. At first, it was just another entry in the catalog of thousands of asteroids that harmlessly zip past Earth each year. Routine, right? But oh, how quickly routines shatter. Within 48 hours, the math shifted, like a shadow lengthening at dusk. Subtle deviations in its path sent orbital models into chaos. Probabilities spiked. 1% chance of Earth impact on December 22nd, 2032. Then 2%, climbing to 3.1%. In the tight-knit world of planetary defense, these aren't lottery odds. They're red flags waving furiously. Picture the tension in those rooms. Hearts pounding, coffee going cold, as alerts cascaded through secure channels. The International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN, lit up like a Christmas tree, and for the first time outside of drills, the term formal notification crossed the wires. It's that moment when whispers become shouts, when the vast indifference of space feels personal, intimate, almost accusatory. Emotionally, it's a gut punch. These scientists aren't just crunching numbers, they're guardians, carrying the weight of billions. One astronomer later shared in a quiet interview how that night felt like staring into an abyss that stared back, evoking a profound sense of vulnerability, a reminder that our planet, for all its bustling life, is a fragile speck. And you? Have you ever gazed at the stars and felt that mix of wonder and dread? If so, drop a comment below. Share your story. It connects us all in this global tapestry. As 3 global observatories confirmed the convergence, the quiet urgency built. No one uttered impact aloud, but the encrypted messages spoke volumes. Congress got the 4:30 a.m. briefing, and dawn brought closed-door meetings, security lockdowns, and a dawning realization. This could be the test we've dreaded and prepared for. Now, the pace quickens, like a heartbeat racing in the dark. For 72 hours straight, data flooded in. Refined trajectories, spectral analyses, velocity tweaks. Each update painted a grimmer picture. For the first time in 2 decades, 2024, YR4 crossed a critical threshold on the Torino scale, triggering global defense coordination. What started as a celestial curiosity morphed into a geopolitical thriller, layers peeling back to reveal secrets buried in starlight. The asteroid's size? A rocky behemoth, 53 to 67 meters across. Think a downtown office tower hurtling through space, potent enough to level a city if it struck. Small by cosmic standards, yet devastatingly real. But here's where the emotional depth sinks in. This wasn't just about rock and math. It was about families, futures, the fragile web of human connection. Imagine the lawmakers in those secure Capitol Hill rooms, clearing schedules, phones confiscated, agendas laser-focused on planetary defense. NASA, the Pentagon, Space Force, all summoned like knights to a round table. No press conferences, no leaks, just swift, silent action. Whispers of patterns, clusters, behaviors that didn't add up. It wasn't merely a rock. It was a probe into our readiness, a mirror reflecting our deepest fears of the unknown. And as probabilities danced, the human element shone, staffers exchanging worried glances, experts debating contingencies with voices laced with urgency and hope. If this stirs something in you, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories that bridge the stars in our souls. The activation of the Space Defense Protocol wasn't theatrical. It was pragmatic, a flip of the switch to readiness. They asked, what can we launch? How fast? What stays classified? Because by February, refined data showed YR4 missing Earth, but grazing perilously close to the Moon, a 4.3% lunar impact risk in 2032. Insignificant, hardly. A strike could birth a kilometer-wide crater, spewing debris that threatens satellites, GPS, communications, the lifelines of our modern world. Enter the heavy hitters. The Pentagon's Advanced Threat Division, eyes widening at the implications. Lunar orbit isn't empty void. It's the new frontier, a strategic chessboard for military might. A lunar hit could shred infrastructure, disrupt Artemis bases in planning, cripple global connectivity. Congress didn't see safe miss. They saw strategic vulnerability. And with that, the Space Defense Protocol, once theoretical, sprang to life. Status indicators blazed red across networks. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office issued top-tier alerts, bypassing bureaucracy. The Space Mission Planning Advisory Group convened in Vienna, timelines crunched with frantic precision. Feel the drama? It's like a thriller novel, but real. Hearts heavy with the weight of what if. This activation marked history, the first multi-agency readiness posture under the framework. Space Force synced in. Satellites pivoted for tracking. Simulations spun every scenario. Proposals flew. Kinetic impactors echoing NASA's 2022 DART success, or the controversial nuclear option. Twin detonations, 5 to 8 times Hiroshima's yield, to pulverize the threat. These weren't sci-fi. They were on the table, stirring ethical storms. But this wasn't just about one asteroid. It tested the full workflow: detection, confirmation, coordination, deflection. And it worked, flawlessly, yet revealing cracks. As we pause here, reflect. How does this make you feel? Empowered? Uneasy? Comment below. Your voice adds to the chorus. Share if it resonates. Let's spread this awareness globally. Transitions seamless. The tempo builds as anomalies emerge, deepening the intrigue. But wait, the plot thickens with a cosmic twist. During Year 4's window, data logs whispered of anomalies. 3 faint tracks in parallel orbits, not large enough for alerts, yet timed impeccably. AI at JPL flagged them as unknown secondaries, their paths jittery, tugged by non-gravitational forces, like gas jets or something. Controlled. Comets? Probes? No one voiced the wild theories, but memos hinted at a larger puzzle. Was YR4 a fragment of a parent body, or part of a staggered cluster? The emotional undercurrent? A creeping dread, that mix of fascination and fear when the universe hints at secrets beyond our grasp. This juncture forged unprecedented bonds. NASA's Planetary Defense Office merged with the Pentagon's anomaly monitoring, blending civilian stargazing with military vigilance. Data fused into a panoramic view, reclassifying enigmas, many as known asteroids, but a stubborn subset defied labels. Trajectories inconsistent with nature, unlike satellites. Debris? Sensor ghosts? The coincidence with YR4's scare kept nerves frayed, underscoring space's dual role. Wonder and warning. Globally relatable? Absolutely. From a farmer in rural India gazing upward to a student in urban Brazil pondering existence. If this echoes your thoughts, like and share. Let's build a community, vigilant and inspired. By late February, the protocol lingered, officially for efficiency, unofficially testing multi-domain threats. The line between planetary and national defense blurred, satellites tracking rocks and rockets alike. 3 months on, follow-up hearings cemented it. The space subcommittees, from detection to deflection, grilled experts. Why missed YR4 earlier? Why luck over prep? Answers sobered. Only about 40% of dangerous asteroids larger than 140 meters discovered. The rest lurk, silent sentinels. Congress urged accelerating NEO Surveyor, now eyeing 2027 launch. Joint training with Space Force formalized. Planetary defense woven into military doctrine. Emotionally, it's a triumph of human spirit, turning fear into fortitude. Planetary defense is national defense, echoed in halls. Budgets shifting to space domain preparedness. Behind scenes, simulations ramped. A leaked proposal for dual nuclear bursts, gently nudging threats without fragmentation. Once fiction, now doctrine, a shield against cosmic whims. Pause and ponder. What legacy do we leave? Comment your hopes. Share to ignite discussions worldwide. The tempo surges, history's lens widening. Let us linger here, beneath the vast canopy of history, where the night sky once ruled with terror and reverence in equal measure. Travel back with me. Feel the cool desert wind on your skin as we stand in the shadow of Babylonian ziggurats, 1800 BCE. Priests in flowing robes climb spiral staircases, clay tablets clutched to their chests, eyes fixed on the heavens. A comet streaks overhead, its tail a fiery serpent, and the city below trembles. Is it Enlil's wrath? Marduk's judgment? They inscribe frantic cuneiform warnings. If a star falls and does not rise again, the king will die. These were not metaphors. These were survival protocols etched in mud and fear. Cut to the Nile, 2500 BCE. Egyptian artisans hammer meteoritic iron, BJNPT, metal of the sky, into sacred daggers for pharaohs. The blade of Tutankhamun, forged from a fallen star, was buried with him not as jewelry, but as divine armor. They feared the sky, yes, but they also worshipped it. Every meteor shower was a message, every eclipse a decree. Their pyramids aligned with Orion's belt, not for vanity, but to anchor their souls against celestial chaos. Now, fast forward through millennia of trembling humanity. The Maya collapsed their calendars around Venus cycles. terrified of planetary omens. Medieval Europe cowers under the 1066 Halley's Comet, convinced it heralds the Norman conquest. Indigenous tribes in the Amazon paint their faces with ash when fireballs rain, chanting to appease sky spirits. For 99.9% of human existence, the cosmos was not a frontier. It was a courtroom, and we were perpetually on trial. But something shifted in the 20th century. Not slowly, violently. In 1908, a 50-meter asteroid detonated over Tunguska, flattening 2,000 square kilometers of Siberian forest with the force of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. No crater, no warning, just a silent sky that screamed. Scientists finally had proof. The gods weren't angry. Physics was indifferent, and indifference is far more terrifying. Enter 2024 YR4, not as divine wrath, but as a test. For the first time in recorded history, humanity didn't just observe a threat. We responded. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, originally built to peer into the universe's infancy, was retasked to stare down a near-Earth rock with infrared eyes. Its light curve flickered, not like a tumbling boulder, but like something reflecting in pulses. Was it spin? Surface irregularity? Or something that made hardened astronomers whisper in hallways they'd never enter again? This wasn't just science. This was evolution. The same species that once sacrificed virgins to appease comets now runs Monte Carlo simulations with 10 million iteration deflection models. The same hands that carved omens into clay now code AI to predict orbital perturbations down to centimeters. We are no longer children cowering under the cosmic blanket. We are engineers of fate. And yet, pause here with me. Feel the weight of that transition. It's not triumph, it's grief. Grief for the innocence we lost when we realized the universe doesn't care. Grief for the billions who lived and died believing the sky had intent. But also, hope. Hope that the tools we've built, Neo-Surveyor, DART's kinetic legacy, Space Force's orbital sentinels, form the first threads of a planetary shield. Imagine a child in Lagos, 2035, looking up not in fear, but in pride. My species stopped an asteroid. That child will never know the sleepless nights of January 2025, the encrypted 4:30 a.m. briefings, the moment a congressional aide realized 4.3% lunar impact meant losing GPS for a decade. But they will inherit the legacy, a world that chose action over awe. So I ask you, right now, wherever you are, look up tonight. Find the moon. Trace its craters. One of them might have been carved by 2024 YR4's cousin, but it wasn't. Because we moved. Because we chose. Comment below. What does the night sky mean to you now? Not as a child of fear, but as a citizen of a species that finally grew up. Let's zoom in, not to telescopes or war rooms, but to people. Because behind every probability curve is a human story pulsing with adrenaline, doubt, and defiance. Meet Dr. Elena Vasquez, 42, lead orbital dynamicist at JPL. January 14th, 2025, 3:17 a.m. She's been staring at the same dataset for 19 hours. Her daughter's science fair volcano sits half-assembled on the kitchen table at home. The model shows YR4's path jittering by 0.0003 degrees, statistically insignificant. But Elena's gut screams. She cross-calls the European Space Agency's Gaia archive. Confirms. The jitter is real. She sends the flagged file with the subject line, non-gravitational acceleration confirmed. Not comet outgassing, her hands shake as she hits send. She doesn't sleep for 36 hours. Cut to Captain Marcus Reed, U.S. Space Force, 34, stationed at Schriever Space Force Base. February 2nd, 2025. He's running classified simulations. What if YR4 fragments? What if the lunar debris cloud intersects the Artemis Gateway in 2033? His team models 12,000 debris tracks. One scenario shows a 10-centimeter shard punching through a habitat module. He briefs the Pentagon at 0600. His voice cracks on the word unacceptable. Later, he calls his wife, stationed in Okinawa, and whispers, "We might actually have to blow something up in space." She laughs nervously. He doesn't. Then there's Aisha Al-Mansour, 29, software engineer for the UN's SMPAG in Vienna. February 15th, 2025. She's Muslim, fasting for Ramadan, and hasn't eaten in 14 hours. But she's rewriting the International Deflection Treaty in real time. Article 7. Nuclear options require unanimous consent of permanent UN Security Council members, plus affected lunar stakeholders. She argues with a Russian general at 2 a.m. over Zoom. He wants veto power. She counters with data. A fragmented asteroid increases Earth risk by 340%. He concedes. She breaks her fast with a protein bar and tears. These are not avatars. These are us. Parents. Siblings. People who binge Netflix and burn toast and now carry the weight of planetary survival. Elena's daughter wins the science fair with a model titled How Mommy Saved the Moon. Marcus's wife sends him a care package with a note. Come home before you redirect any asteroids. Aisha's paper is adopted as UN Resolution 80/2025, the first binding space defense treaty in history. This is the emotional core, not the rock, not the math, the humanity. The late-night texts between colleagues. Did you see the new light curve? The shared memes in secure channels. DART hitting Dimorphos, captioned, "Practice round." The quiet moments in observatories where astronomers play Beethoven to stay sane while tracking death from above. If this moves you, and it should, pause the video. Go hug someone. Tell them the sky tried to kill us, and we said not today. Then come back and comment their name. Let's build a wall of gratitude for the unseen guardians. Now, let's talk hardware, because protocols are meaningless without tools. And humanity? We're toolmakers. Neo Surveyor, the infrared hunter, sits in a clean room in California, its golden mirrors gleaming like a predator's eyes. Launch, 2027. Mission: find 76% of all 140 million plus asteroids by 2035. It will stare at the sun's glare where rocks hide, painting the inner solar system in thermal light. Every detection feeds the deflection clock. 10 years minimum to nudge a killer. DART's Children, NASA's follow-up fleet. Hero, 2028. A swarm of kinetic impactors. Hammer, 2030. Nuclear-armed deflectors. Yes, they have a name now. Simulations show a 1 megaton airburst 500 kilometers from an asteroid imparts a 1 centimeter per second velocity change, enough to miss Earth by 10,000 kilometers over a decade. Space Force's Golden Dome, not a literal dome, a constellation. 400 satellites in low Earth orbit, armed with lasers and kinetic rods. Officially, debris mitigation. Unofficially, if it moves wrong, we end it. The 2025 YR4 scare-funded Phase 1. Phase 2 launches 2026. Lunar Shield Network, 12 ground stations on the moon's far side by 2032. Why the far side? No Earth interference. They'll track incoming rocks with millimeter precision, guiding deflection missions from cislunar space. China, India, ESA, all in. The Artemis Accords now include Article 11, mutual defense against natural impactors, and the wild card, civilian militias. Yes, you read that right. Companies like Astroforge and Origin Space are building asteroid mining fleets. Their tech? Identical to deflection craft. A 2025 memo leaked. In extremis, commercial miners can be nationalized for planetary defense. Your future spaceship Uber might save the world. Picture 2040. A 300-meter rock detected on a 7-year collision course. NEO Surveyor flags it. Golden Dome tracks it. Hero Swarm launches from Lunar Gateway. 400 days out. Impact. Deflection. Cheers erupt in mission control. The rock misses by 1.2 Earth radii. Humanity throws a global party. Someone live streams it on whatever replaces TikTok. But here's the gut punch. we're still blind to 60% of the big ones. And small ones, like Chelyabinsk 2013, can still ruin a city. The shield is growing, but it's not done. Every telescope built, every satellite launched, every engineer trained, it's a brick in the wall. So here's your call. Support the shield. Write your representatives. Fund STEM. Back the NEO surveyor. Because the next YR4 won't wait for bureaucracy. Comment, build the shield if you're in.